Hello and welcome. I'm here from Adotrip official handle, and we are live for the first time with a celeb influencer, travel influencer named Joyjeet Mukherjee. And what perfect timing that we are all drenched in Christmas and New Year vibes. And it's a proud moment as Adotrip has emerged as one of the largest online travel platforms of the country with a huge inventory of travel products and end-to-end services for our clients. We recently won the Gold Awards in mobile advertising as the best mobile app for travel and leisure. I'm here to add Mr. Joyjeet Mukherjee. Let me just send him a request. Hi Joy, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well, Karan. How are you?
All well, all well. So, how's it going? Thanks for coming on live with us on Adotrip Official, and it's very pleasure for us to have you on board.
Yeah, I
And
feel honored to be a part of it.
yeah, so Adotrip, like always, as you know, believes in making travel possible for everyone, irrespective of age, gender, or social status. And this live session with a noted traveler like you will give our viewers, some cues on living their travel fantasies. That's what our premium section, Trip Talkies, is all about. So let's take this forward with a round of questions that give us a sneak peek into Joyjeet's travel journey so far. So Joyjeet is a big-time travel junkie who is now an influencer, inspiring many budding influencers and travel bloggers, and of course giving us some major travel goals. So Joyjeet, let's get started. Are you ready?
Yes, absolutely, Karan. Let's start.
Oh, great. Great, lovely to have you. So our first question to you is, what is traveling for you?
So, what should I say? I would have to give you a very cliche kind of answer. Like traveling is therapeutic, it's refreshing, it's rejuvenating, it's inspiring. And end of the day, what I tell everyone is travel is something I work for because if I work, I earn some money, I travel. So I do not have any other goals in my life. Everybody knows me. I'm one of those people
Yeah.
who has no ambitions, no goals. I just live to live my life, and whatever money I save after after the money I need for my home, for my family, I travel. I spend everything on travel. I live on a zero balance bank account.
Definitely. I mean, I follow you very regularly and just, see how passionate you are for traveling. And it's very inspiring. And so tell our viewers a little about how did you realize your passion and when was it when you started traveling?
So the passion, I would say, it goes long back because I'm a single child. My father used to work for Airport Authority of India, and I have always seen him traveling, of course, for work, not for leisure. So he used to travel like 20 days in a month, and it's just me and my mom at home. And I was very, I don't know, I was very curious and very happy about the idea because dad is always traveling. He used to go to beautiful places because Indian Airport Authority takes care of the airports in Bhutan, in Maldives, in Bangladesh. So all these SAARC countries. So he used to travel a lot. Of course, all the airports in India too. So I was very enthusiastic. Wish I can go with him. Wish I can travel with him, which was never possible. But yes, I used to fly a lot since I was like 6 months old. So from then, this traveling kida was there in my mind. And then after I grew up, I completed my school. I went for my first trip with one of my friends. I went to Vaishno Devi, and it was so amazing. And then what happened? I got married very early in life. I married when I was 25, and I went to Kashmir for honeymoon. So that was the time I realized that traveling is something which actually gives me all kind of pleasures, nothing else. Like I don't have any other things in mind. Like I don't want to buy a penthouse. I don't want to drive a Audi or a BMW. All I need to do
Right.
is whenever I have some money, I travel. So from then there's no stopping and just traveling, traveling, traveling,
Right.
probably 5, 6 times a year. So
So
that's how
tell
it
us
started.
about your most memorable road trip that you've been on. I know you've
So
been in a lot, and recently also
yes,
you traveled a lot all across North India. So,
not
tell us a little bit about your, memorable trip.
so memorable road trips. There were quite a few, but I would today like to discuss about a trip I took probably in 2014 to Arunachal Pradesh. So it was a family trip. It was my marriage anniversary, so we went to Arunachal Pradesh, and I went. My daughter was 10 years old that time, and it was monsoon. It was in July, so unfortunately, my
Mhm.
marriage happened in July, which is a very bad time for traveling because you cannot travel
Yeah, that's
anywhere
right.
because of monsoon. Yes,
Very
but
true.
I'm about to complete 20 years this year. Coming year, I'll be 20 years. But I have never stayed home during my wedding anniversary even once. So
Yeah.
whatever it is, come what may, I will travel. So we travel to Arunachal Pradesh, and if you have to go to Arunachal Pradesh, you have to take a inner line permit. So there is an office in Chanakyapuri, the Arunachal Pradesh director. So I went to get my permit, and he says nobody goes to Arunachal Pradesh in July because there are
Mhm.
landslides, bad road. And I said, no, it's hellbent. I have to go because I bought my cheap tickets and I cannot cancel. I have done everything that I have to do. So there's no stopping. So he said, okay, write with your own hands that anything happens to me, I'm responsible. I said, yeah, I wrote it. I went to Arunachal Pradesh, but I was not aware Arunachal Pradesh during monsoon could be so bad. So it was a wonderful trip because you must be knowing, and all the travelers who are watching us today, they all know
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
hills look the prettiest during monsoon because
Right.
everything is so green. The lakes are full with water. The waterfalls are huge. So it's the best time to go to the hills. But when you have to have something so good, you have to have the negative side of it too. So the
Right.
travel becomes risky. The roads will have a lot of landslides, and so that's exactly what happened. Went for the trip. The trip was very good. While we were coming back from Tawang, it was Tawang. So we were coming back. There was a landslide in front of us, behind us. So like 2 3 days we are stuck in on the road with two landslides,
Mhm.
one in front of us, one behind us. So like 2 days we had to sleep inside the Tata Sumo we were using, including my child, and the villagers around the place. They were feeding us dal chawal. They were giving us khichdi. There was the army cantonment nearby. We were using their washrooms. They were very kind enough to let us use the washrooms, and we were safe. We were safe because the locals around Northeast are really wonderful people. So after 2 days, the driver said that, sir, I don't think the landslide will open anytime soon. So you have to trek
Mhm.
down like 3 4 kilometers, and you go through the jungle, and you will get you another car. So with my daughter, I said, okay. I mean, I was not very keen on that idea because we go from Delhi. We have the habit of staying in comfortable homes with, all facilities around us, and 3 4 kilometer trekking down with a child with luggage. He says there is no other way because if you decide to stay back, I do not know how long you will have to stay back here. So he said, okay, we'll go. So we carried our luggage and we trekked down the jungle, through the jungle. We slipped quite a bit and everything like that. So somehow we managed to come down. My daughter was very happy. She was like, "Wow, what memory!" I mean, I could see that I'm upbringing another traveler. I mean, it
Yeah.
happens. The father is a doctor, the son is a doctor. So
A few
similarly,
of
in my
our,
case,
yeah. A few of our
yeah,
audiences are really excited that you actually traveled to Northeast and you had
right,
these
and
kind of
travel as well.
experiences. And I think you also attended a very famous festival there, right?
So I attended quite a few famous festivals
Yeah.
of Northeast. To name a few, I did Hornbill Festival twice in Nagaland. I went to
Yeah.
Zero Musical Festival in Arunachal Pradesh. I also did the Ras Leela in Majuli in Assam. So yes, I did quite a few festivals.
Okay, great. So, there's a myth that traveling requires a lot of money. What is your take on it? I'm sure you have a lot of inputs on that.
I would say it is not a myth. I'm sorry, but it is not a myth. You need, if you don't, even if I say you do not need a lot of money, but yes, you need money to travel. Because
Right.
I know people make vlogs and they say in 150 rupees I went to Manali and came back. Those are bullshit. It can never happen. I mean, I travel a lot. How much can you ask for lift? How much can you sleep in a dhaba? How much can you eat Maggie? That is
Right.
fairly not possible. Might be possible for few, not possible for me. So yes, you need money to travel. Yes, the luxury is not required. But even if you travel to Manali via Volvo, the ticket would not be less than 1,000 rupees. So,
Mm-hmm.
and beyond Volvo, I don't think I can travel by a local bus or something. Even if you travel by local bus, still you need some money. I mean, absolutely
Right.
150 rupees and 200 rupees blogs, those are bullshit.
Right. That's true. So we at Adotrip are trying our best to make travel possible for everybody. So what is your view on our services? Have you used any services, and what do you think about Adotrip?
So, Karan, I have not got a chance to use your services, like use and use, but yes, I
Yeah.
have checked your website because at the time you joined, absolutely, you and I have been friends for a very long time. So, I was very curious that if you have joined an organization, must be something great. So, I checked the website, and you know what? The best part after checking your website, the best part I liked is the 24/7 customer service. Because what is
Yeah.
happening today, because I have been through it, because during lockdown I was stuck in Goa and I bought all my tickets through Goibibo and Make My Trip. So there's nobody to connect, you know. If you are
Right.
stuck, if your flight goes smooth, yes, you've got a 500 rupees discount, you're very happy. If you do not have to cancel your hotel, yes, you're very happy. But if you miss your flight, if you have to cancel your flight, if there is any problem with your flight, there is nobody you can connect to. Like 2 years, you don't get your money back. You don't know where
Right.
to go. Twitter, they don't respond. You write them messages, they don't check. You write them email, the email bounces back. So this is one point I wanted to talk to you about, that because you're starting a new business in travel. So what I would love to have is a good customer service. Like if we go to a travel agent, that personal customer service should be there, because if I'm your client, I'm coming back to you every time. I would expect you to be there for me if I have any problem, right? Of course. Then second comes the budget part. I also saw you mentioned that we try to make travel very cheap and very affordable for everybody. That is also very much required, because today we have like seven aggregators we see from here and there. Anybody gives me 10 rupees less, I will buy the ticket from them. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So it is very important for a travel agent to give us the best competitive rate and
Right.
a good customer service. Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, that's definitely correct because Aerotrip believes in that. And I think, we have our AI enabled circuit planner tool, which is a great, a tool for travelers who really want to, know where to go, what to do at the place wherever they are when they're traveling. So I wanted to know, you love music a lot, and I'm sure you must be attending a lot of music festivals. So, which is your favorite music festival you recently attended?
So, as I said, I attended quite a few of them. Mainly two of them are the Hornbill Festival, that is in Nagaland, and Zero Musical Festival that happens at Zero Arunachal Pradesh. So the Hornbill Festival is a mix of music and culture and food. But the Zero Music Festival that happens end of September every year, it's not happening for the
Right.
last 2 years because of COVID. So this festival is amazing in terms of the kind of bands they get. The bands come from many other countries. Some of them are coming from Japan, some of them coming from Sweden, and there are also a lot of Indian bands also. And if you talk about the quality of the bands there, it is out of the world. They perform so well. The stage is so well set. I mean, in a remote location like Zero in Arunachal Pradesh, they host the festival for 4 days, and it is just out of the world. I love Zero Music Festival. I also love the Hornbill Festival. Yes.
That's great. So, can you tell us a little bit about your special childhood memories in travel that makes you nostalgic even today?
Oh yes, I remember once I was a kid. I'm a single child, and me, my dad, my mom, we went that days. Those days were not used to be so luxurious. There were not so many facilities. People did not have a great economy that time. So we had a nice budget trip, a family trip to Rajasthan. We went to Jaipur, then we went to Udaipur. Yes, we were traveling by those RSRTC Rajasthan tourism buses. So that is still a very beautiful memory I have traveling with my dad and mom together, staying at small hotels, eating here and there, street food and everything. I would always cherish this memory in my life.
That's great to hear. That's very nice. And any unique festival of India that you have been part of in your, or which is in your wish list you haven't attended till now?
I guess I have attended Hornbill, which was in my wish list. I loved it so much. I attended it twice. First, I went in 2012, and second, I
Mhm.
just came back from Hornbill Festival 2 weeks back. So that is one of the most amazing festivals I have been to. It is called the Festivals of Festivals because so many tribes and so many local people from the state they come together to showcase their culture, their food, their dance, their music. It is absolutely out of the world. I am already posting a few pictures on my Instagram account. Your audience can also just have a look on them, and I will be posting more. It's one of those
Okay.
festivals I really
Right.
love.
So there's a question from an audience. She's asking, which place has he been to which has the most colorful culture?
Which
Yeah.
place I've been to, which is the most colorful culture, I would say Nagaland. Nagaland
Yeah.
has the most beautiful, colorful culture. The
Mhm.
clothes they wear, the kind of music they play, the food they eat, it's beautiful. I just love Nagaland.
Yeah. Great. And you travel so much, so just wanted to know for our audience, are there any new gadgets that are coming up in the market which you think are a must-have while traveling?
So gadgets, there are so many gadgets that's coming up. I myself have is a gadget freak like everybody else. I love, my camera. I love my mobile. I have a SLR camera. I have a few extra lenses. I have an action camera, and then of course there is a Bluetooth headset that you have to flaunt for your airport look, which is mandatory these days. I don't know if you have to hear something or not, but you have to have a those headset that you
Mhm.
hang around your neck just to show you have one. So those are the gadgets. But being a frequent traveler and luggage is always a problem, and carrying a lot of gadgets is always a problem. I would say I try not to travel with any of the gadgets anymore. I do carry. This time also I took my SLR, I took my lenses, I took my action camera, and end of the day I was clicking most of my pictures on my mobile because these days if you have a good mobile, that is I think sufficient for your travel pictures unless you would want to print those pictures and make an enlarged print and hang it on your wall. You do not
Right.
actually need a camera. A mobile is sufficient because you just
Actually,
want
see your
to show it to
pictures.
your fellow friends.
I mean, is it you do you click your pictures with your mobile because they're just amazing. Which mobile
It's a
are
mix
you
of
using
both.
currently?
Yes, it's a mix of both. Sometimes I use the mobile and sometimes I do use the camera. If I think the picture is good enough that I can take a printout and I want to keep it for lifetime, I use my camera. So I just saw somebody asked a question which camera I would suggest. So
Yeah.
I think I have been using Nikon and Canon both, and right now I am using Canon M50. It's M for mirrorless,
Mhm.
mirrorless 50. Canon M50 I'm using, and that's quite a good camera for traveling. It's compact, it's very small, and it does the work well. With the M50,
Mhm.
you can have a couple of extra lenses for wide angle. You can
Yeah.
take there are many wide angle lenses because for traveling we need a wide angle because we want to capture the panoramic view because our eyes
Mhm.
allows us to see a lot of we can see like this with eyes, but when we see with the camera it
Yeah.
becomes only this much. So you need a wide angle lens. And about the mobile, right now I'm using a Samsung M51 M50, I guess. Yeah, Samsung M50.
Mhm.
So that is also good. And coincidence, my
Okay.
camera is also M50 and mobile is also
Yeah.
M50. Yeah.
Another question from an audience. Tell us, Kanika is there. Tell us what essential things you always remember to pack while traveling.
Essential things.
Anything else?
I'm
Yeah.
45 years. I'm 45 years old. I do not forget to carry my medicines anymore. Yeah, I'm not that young, so I have to take care of my health. And with such bad food habits, yes, health is always a problem. Just kidding. So the medicines are very important because if you go to remote locations, you do not get the medicines you want. Okay. Along with that, of course, a phone, a charger. Luckily, thanks to Samsung, they are making such amazing phones these days. I don't need power bank anymore because I already have a phone which has like a 6,000 mAh battery, so power banks are not required anymore. But yes, a good mobile, if you do not want to carry your camera, that is mandatory. I always carry a headphone, a small compact headphone. These days I'm using this, so this doesn't work for a very long time because the battery is a problem. So I always carry a wired headphone because while traveling wherever I am, you know how Indians are. If you are in a train, you have to hear their Sarboki whole story throughout the night. You do not want to hear, just plug in your headphone. You are in the flight, you have to hear somebody talking to their girlfriend or boyfriend, they're fighting, probably do whatever they want to do, it's their time. So again, you have to plug in your headphone if you do not want to overhear the conversation. So a headphone is very important while traveling. A good phone is very important. I'm a man, I do not use sunscreen, but for a woman, a sunscreen is absolutely important. And yes, for me, I need a shorts, a couple of t-shirts, and a floater to wear. That's all.
That's all. Okay. Let's see a question. Your views on digital detox while traveling.
Digital detox while traveling. I am not blessed to enjoy that digital detox. Being an influencer, I feel I have some moral responsibilities to let my viewers know where I'm traveling and what kind of traveling I'm doing. So I do not believe in digital detox. I can still handle the digital pollution on my head.
Okay, let me give you some situations. Like, for example, if your baggage exceeds, then what will you drop? The clothes, shoes, or camera?
I'll pay for the excess baggage and bring everything back.
Okay, great. So, second question: if you're getting a free ticket to travel somewhere, where would you like to go?
If they're just giving me one free ticket, I'll go to Thailand as a solo traveler. And if it's a family travel package, I'll go to Seychelles.
Seychelles. Oh, great, great to know. And if you lose your wallet on the first day of your trip, how do you manage that?
So yes, I am very careful about that. So I carry a small backpack with me, and wherever I go, every traveler does. I think it's a very handy
Right.
small Quechua backpack I have. So I always keep one ATM card, a little bit cash, and an extra ID. So we have so many IDs these days, PAN card, driving license, everything. I just keep one ID, one ATM card, and some money in my backpack also, just in case I lose my wallet. I will at least have everything. And thanks to our government, now Paytm works very well at most places. So even if you lose, if till the time you have your phone, I think you can manage to survive.
That's true. Okay, another question. If you are lost at a place and where there's no GPS or signal, then how will you get through? What will you do?
I'll take out my T-shirt that says "I'm lost. Take me home with you." If
That's a good one.
somebody is kind enough, they can take me with them. Or just kidding. I think this is a valid question, and I should answer it. So
Yeah.
even if my GPS works and even everything is in place, I still love to talk to a lot of local people. Because the way the locals can tell you about places, no
Right.
Google, no GPS can guide you. So it's always good to ask the local. Say, भैया अच्छा खाना कहाँ मिलेगा? भैया मेरा बजट कम है कहाँ पे रहूं? So I have before going to these remote locations, I go to places where probably they still do not have a lot of homestays or hotels or hostels.
Right.
So the best is when you reach there, you talk to the people that I'm a traveler, I have come, I want to stay somewhere. Where should I stay? Or where do I get the food? Or how do I get the next bus? Because whatever you see on Google, those information might not be 100% right at the time of
Right.
traveling. So it's always better to talk to the locals, find out someone who knows about it. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, any other questions? Let's see. Is pre-booking important? Asked Shraddha.
Pre-booking, I think it helps. If you so there are two kind of travel. First, if you're traveling in a group of with a group of people, or you're traveling with a family, pre-booking is absolutely necessary. You do not want to reach somewhere, you're very tired, you have your luggage, and then you look for an accommodation to stay. But yes, if you're going to a very popular place, like if you're going to Manali, Shimla, Goa, if you're going to McLeodganj, you will find an accommodation for yourself. It will not be a trouble. But if you're going to a place which probably if you're going to GB, or if you're going to say about Chitkul, which probably has only 3 or 4 hotels, so you might not
Right.
find a place to stay when you reach. So if you're going to offbeat places, or if you're going during peak season, it's always better to pre-book. And secondly, when you book these days, it's always cheaper to book, because if you go there and they know that you do not have an accommodation, they can ask any kind of money from you and you're bound to pay. But if you pre-book, these travel agencies or these aggregators, they have already fixed up the deal with them. Well, for this room, we are giving you 1,000 rupees. For this room, we'll sell it for 3,000 rupees. So I think pre-booking always helps. Always helps.
Okay, that's great. That's great. So yeah, let's play something very exciting. Let's play a rapid fire, wherein we'll
Karan,
ask you a question. Yeah,
I
sorry.
think we wanted to discuss about a very important point, which about a solo traveler. If you want to include that.
Sure, sure, sure. Please do. Please tell me.
No, no. Yeah, that day we were talking and you were asking
Yeah.
that which place is safe for a female solo traveler.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Then I want to
So,
ask you that. Hmm.
yes. So I think I would say, because I've traveled to most of the places in India at least, and some part of the world also. I would say every place is very safe for a female traveler if they know how to handle it. And when I say how
Yeah.
to handle it, don't take me wrong. Don't take me wrong, because I know these days female would say, I have all the rights to do everything. Why should I be stopped from doing anything? No, nobody is
Right.
stopping you.
Right.
I being a man, I'm a man. I don't have any fear when I travel, because men are usually not at risk. That's what people say. But still, I do not over drink. I do not over smoke up. Not with strangers at least. Because that
Right.
is one point where you can be in a little bit of danger in terms of your health also, and in terms of your other factors also. So it's always better
Hmm.
for a solo traveler to not indulge in over drinking or over smoking up with strangers. And otherwise, I think every place is very safe for me. Rishikesh, Pushkar, Goa, um, and places like Manali, GB, all these hippie circuits, I find these hippie circuits very safe and very amazing for solo travelers, because they offer a lot of hostels to stay. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and Adotrip is right now promoting a special female package for Christmas, wherein we are promoting female travelers going on a solo trip with friends. So, I mean, that would be a very good recommendation, as I discussed with you earlier. Thanks for that tip for the female travelers. Any recommendations? They're asking one of the audience for destinations to travel.
There are so many, depends whether person is comfortably, whether it's a beach or a hill. But my favorite places would always remain Goa. Goa is on the top. Then there are places like McLeodganj, there's Rishikesh, there's Pushkar, there's Manali. There are so many places to go. I mean, you
Hmm.
just name it, you travel. Pack your bags and travel. Go.
Hmm. And what are your plans for New Year travel?
I'm going to Goa,
Goa? Oh,
as
that's
always.
great. Okay.
Yes.
Sure. All right. Let's have the rapid fire now. So I'll
Yes.
ask you a few questions and you have to answer as soon as possible, right? A place from where nothing is far.
Delhi,
Delhi. Okay. A place where you can spend your entire life at.
Goa in India, Bangkok otherwise.
Okay. And your favorite dish from the Indian menu.
Biryani.
Biryani. Your favorite travel buddy.
My family, my wife and my child.
Mhm. Okay, one of the audience asked me that which biryani, Hyderabad biryani or some other biryani you're interested
Being a Bengali, Kolkata biryani would top the list. Second is Hyderabadi biryani.
in. Okay. Then your travel staples.
My travel staples is, of course, it would be like my mobile, as we already answered the question, my mobile and a headphone,
Right.
a shorts, a couple of t-shirts, and a floater.
Okay. And best advice, travel advice you have ever received.
Uh, I really, yes, best advice. I think I took it very positively when some people said, do not travel during peak season. It's always cheaper and always, beneficial to travel during off season.
Right. Yeah, that's a good tip. And one thing you should strictly avoid while traveling.
Too much alcohol and too much smoking up.
Definitely. I mean, you should be able to enjoy the whole experience. And your biggest travel achievement.
Visiting Kartarpur in Pakistan.
Okay. That was a good experience.
Absolutely amazing experience. Though I'm a Bengali, but the moment the Gurdwara opened and Indians were allowed to go, I immediately went to visit Kartarpur Sahib Gurdwara. And the reason I call it an achievement because I stepped inside Pakistan territory. That's too without stamping my passport. That was a good
That's
achievement.
good. That's a big achievement. And then when will you travel next? You said Goa, right?
Yes, Goa.
Right, right. And with family, friends, or solo, what is your best way to travel? Which do you prefer?
So I prefer always traveling with my family because my family is equally crazy as I am when it comes to traveling. So we give good company to each other, me, my wife, my daughter. And if they are unable to go, then I prefer going solo. The second choice would be solo.
Definitely. Okay, last, before concluding this live session, we request you to share one enriching travel experience that you feel everyone must experience at least once in a lifetime.
So I would say cruising. So I personally have done cruising quite a few times. From in India also I've done once. I did it a couple of times from Singapore. So cruising is really an amazing experience. Every traveler should enjoy because that is first people have some myth cruising is very expensive. Let me tell you, cruising is not expensive if you plan it well. If you book it in advance, cruising is really affordable. Cruising is too much fun because you get to travel in such a huge ship which has everything, and there are so many entertainment programs, fantastic food they offer you. There's so much to see, so much to do, and that's to inside a ship. So I think cruising is absolutely an amazing experience. Every traveler should experience once, more than once.
So, one audience is asking, where in India have you tried it?
So I tried cruising. That was long time back when Star Cruise started its cruising from Mumbai to Lakshadweep. So I did that cruise. That only happened once, but right now even Cordelia has again started Mumbai, Goa, Lakshadweep, Kochi, those cruises. So cruising is fun. And I did a couple of times through Royal Caribbean also. That is from Singapore, Thailand, Malaysia, and all. That was also a good experience. Yeah.
Okay, great. All right, Joyda, it was a pleasure having you, and thanks a lot for giving your time and sharing your experience with Adotrip official, our Instagram audience and our followers. So pleasure having you, and look forward to connect soon for the future. Thanks a lot. Have a great Goa trip for New Year's. Thanks a lot. Pleasure.
Thank you, Karan. Thank you for having me here. And I wish Adotrip a lot of success. And I'm definitely going to use your portal soon for my next travel plans. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.